If you have social anxiety, one cognitive behavioral therapist has an idea for you. Spoiler alert, you will not like it. Okay, a lot of people have social anxiety, myself included. I think I've gotten better over the years, and that is because I've had a lot of exposure to anxiety-inducing situations, which is the core of what this therapy is being projected as.
Right, well, because kind of the theory behind it is that what is causing the social anxiety is the perceptions of the individual and the likely outcome, not the actuality of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not entirely rational and based completely in fear of what could happen or what might happen or the worst possible thing. So this comes from Stephen Hoffman. He's the director of the Social Anxiety Program at Boston University's Center for Anxiety and Related Disorders, which is very cool that that exists. So he has different techniques for this, but it boils down to essentially exposure. So a lot of people have their anxiety manifest in different ways, or it's caused by different things, but the way that they typically start as in this program at least, is with public speaking. Public speaking is something that can terrify and intimidate and cause a lot of anxiety leading up to. But perhaps if you do it, you'll realize that it's not that bad after all, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it boils down to say it in really easy terms.
It's so funny for me that they start with the public speaking thing, because for me, that's never been a source of social anxiety for me. I grew up doing theater, so to me, that was always like really natural, and that didn't faze me in the slightest.
I started doing theater as a kid because I was so shy. And I needed to get over it. I get over stage fright.
Yeah.
So it was just very upsetting and grueling through childhood.
But I think for me it was more like, and they go into this in the study as well, that like I had more social anxiety about like interacting with humans, like not in a stage setting where it's like,
where you have to be yourself?
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to talk to people about. I just want to go home and play video games. Like,
how do people do this? I remember having that thought as a kid, is how do people have so many friends? It's so hard.
Totally.
It's so hard. But what happens is like you are thinking that this is a world where certain rules exist.
Yes.
And that if you break these rules, then you're in a lot of trouble and the worst thing could happen, and you don't necessarily know what that is, but it makes your heart beat, it makes your pulse quicken, it scares you.
Yeah.
So part of Hoffman's therapy, or people in his clinic, is to have exposure. And that is with doing certain scenarios that he has presented. These are listed in his book. They are going to sound very silly. So one of his ideas, or these aren't ideas, these are things that he's actually had people being treated for social anxiety do.
Sure.
Go to a bookstore and say to employees, "Excuse me, I was looking for books about farting." Interrupting a group at a restaurant and asking them to serve as an audience for you so you can practice a maid of honor best man speech. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
Standing directly in front of Fenway Park, remember the clinic is in Boston, and asking 10 people if they know where Fenway Park is. Bostonians will be nice, right? Calling a nearby 5-star hotel to negotiate a vacation package complete with tickets to a ball game, a horse-drawn carriage tour of the city, rose petals strewn on the bed, then rejecting the offer and making no apology for it, saying, "You've changed your mind." Going to a crowded restaurant and sitting at the bar, asking the person next to you if they've seen the movie When Harry Met Sally and if they know who the actors are. This one no longer works in the modern era. Renting a DVD from Blockbuster, walking out, and then immediately walking back in, telling the same employee you rented from, "I would like to return this because I just realized I don't have a DVD player." Asking a pharmacist for some condoms, then saying, "Is this the smallest size you have?" Standing on a street corner and loudly singing "God Bless America" or "Mary Had a Little Lamb" for 10 straight minutes.
Yeah.
And there is video proof that he did make at least one person do this. So the point is to make patients think carefully about what they're afraid of and whether their fears are overblown. So these are all awkward. You're going to seem kind of stupid in all of them, or extremely stupid.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst thing that could happen in the world.
It's not. And just to speak a little bit to the Fenway thing, is I can't count the number of times at Universal I've been standing under the studio tour sign and had someone ask me where the studio tour is.
Yay!
So,
Well, what they found was that people were generally nicer than the person thought
Yes,
they might be, or
yes.
they didn't care, which is
Yeah.
where most people fall under,
Yeah.
to be honest. Or maybe they thought you were a tourist, like those
Exactly.
visiting Universal Studios.
100%. And that's the thing is I think that if you are the person on the receiving end of that, you're actually more likely to kind of react in a way of, oh, this poor person's confused, or, oh, they're a tourist, they've got vacation brain going on, or something like that. Like, people, I think, are less judgmental than the patients with social anxiety are making their fellow humans out to be.
Or they just don't care,
Yeah.
which is where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what I do.
Exactly.
So now I eat my food in my car, and I don't care if people look at me.
Yep, totally.
Yep. I'll never see you again. You know, so I'm sitting in traffic.
Yep.
And it's just like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
I mean, there is the idea that that could be my future boss or someone who could influence my life and thinks I'm an idiot.
Sure.
But that's largely irrational.
Exactly. And the likelihood of that is extremely slim, as you say. So, yeah.
Audience, how did you get over your social anxiety? Because I want some tips. No, we all need tips. Please let us know below in the comments. And please, won't you like and subscribe for more?